A big welcome to all of us. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you are joining me from. A big welcome to all of us. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you are joining me from. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. As you have seen, we have an interesting conversation coming. Let me know if you can get me. Let me know where you are joining me from. Feel free to share this with someone else so that we can be learning together. We are coming to you live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Feel free to share so that you can invite someone else for us to learn together. Thank you, Langat Kipkorir on YouTube. I can see you. Let me know where you're joining me from. Even as we prepare to begin, we should be starting in the next 1 minute or so. Feel free to share this with your friends. Feel free to invite someone else to join us as we carry on with this great conversation. A big welcome to all of us. Right, so here we are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is that you're joining me from. Once again, let me know where you are joining us from. Feel free to share this live with someone else on whichever platform that you're joining me from. We are coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Let me welcome a few of us. Feel free to let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Today we have an interesting conversation like you have seen, and that is the conversation on side hustles. Langat Kipkorir, I can see you from Mbita. Masi Natukunda, thank you so much for coming. I can see you from Uganda. Shapley ASP, I can see you. You're saying you can get me loud and clear. You are also joining us from Uganda. Good to have you. Felix Okinyi, I can see you from Umoja. Can see you from Umoja. Thank you so much. Kuiwa team, I can see you on Instagram. Right, so the conversation of side hustles is one that we have talked about before is one that many of you have asked very many questions about. I have been answering very many questions about it in the past, and we decided to have a session where we can say a few things about it. I don't know what your own experiences have been as far as side hustles are concerned. I don't know if you have one. Feel free to utilize the comment section. Let me know if you have a side hustle, if you have tried, what your experience was. If you can tell us what it was, so that then we can see how we can enrich this conversation. Let me know if you've had one, if you are thinking about having one, what the challenge is, why you don't have one up to now, and I'll be glad to look at what you are saying. Manda Kakongo, I can see you from Zambia. Thank you so much for opening the door for our Zambian brothers and sisters. Blessed Peter Wambua, thank you so much from Kitengela. I can see you. Right, so very many times you will hear us or people who talk about money telling you that the greatest tragedy in the world of money is reliance on one source of income. Is the biggest catastrophe ever known in the world of money. The lie of relying on one source of income. Okay. And so when you hear such sentiments, it is easier and possible that you will rush home beginning to think that you are being left behind, and therefore you need to do something. You also need to have a side hustle. And my observation is that very many people, every time the word side hustle, the phrase side hustle is mentioned, very many people begin to think about a business. Okay? So very many people will begin to think about where they can get money that they want to call capital, so that they can start a business, they can open a shop, they can do some business and make profit. It's the first thought, in my observation, that comes to very many people when a side hustle is mentioned. But now there are very many people, and I don't know if you are one of those people, who have rushed to open businesses, but it has not worked the way they thought it was going to work. Very many people have broken into their savings account, took savings, they've taken savings that they have been accumulating for very many years, pumped them into what they're calling their side hustle, and then before 1 year or in a short span of time, the business collapses. So the savings is not there, the business is not there, and if you're not careful, the business collapses and leaves you in debt. So there is that confusion, because very many people, even in my inbox, keep asking, so what are we supposed to do? What would be the best business for us? What is the best business for me? I have this amount of money. What business can I do as a side hustle? That is a question very many people keep asking. And I keep smiling because I keep asking myself, and who said that a side hustle must be a business? And that's one of the things we are here to demystify today. Because very many people have lost their money, their savings for a long period of time, because they rushed to start a business and the business did not work. What is your experience? What is your experience? Let me hear what you have experienced in the world of side hustles, as you've been attempting to have side hustles, if you've ever tried. And if you've not tried, let us know, why haven't you tried? What is the stumbling block, so that I can attempt to address it, even as we have this conversation. All right, so let's welcome a few others. Felix, you're saying you have a laptop and Wi-Fi in the house, but you've never found any online side hustle. Uh-huh. Okay. John Kagika, you can hear me loud and clear. Manda, you are saying you have tried. It's helpful to meet shortfalls. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Which particular one have you tried? It would do us some good if you told us which one you have tried. Atana Willie, I can see you. Thank you so much. Good to catch up again. You're joining us from Uganda. We are talking about side hustles. Which one have you tried? How did it go? And if you've not tried, why haven't you tried? Okay, why haven't you tried? So as we keep talking about the danger of having one source of income, there will always be that attraction, that temptation for you to think about having a side hustle. And chances are very high that you are likely to do what we have said many people have done, and that is trying to open a business. Allow me to mention at this very early stage that a business world is a very different world. So if I am employed, for example, and I spend all my time at my employer's place, and then I pick money and I pump into a business. First of all, the success of a business begins at the point of deciding the kind of business you want to do, at the point of selecting the idea that you want to venture into. So that is usually the starting point. Businesses come from ideas, not capital. I think I have mentioned to you a lot of times that there are very many people who say they are waiting for capital for them to be able to start business. But I keep saying that businesses come from ideas before they come from capital. So how do you select the idea that you choose to invest your money in? That's where this conversation begins, whether it will succeed or not. So very many people will ask around, which idea is the best idea currently? Which one is the most popular idea? Or they may take a walk along the street near where they live. They will see some shop that is crowded. People seem to be crowding in that shop every day. And something begins to tell them, this looks like the in thing. This looks like a brilliant idea, because that shop never lacks customers. You need to be very careful. I also told you last year, when I teach entrepreneurship, I like telling people that sometimes you will see a shop that has very many customers every day, and you think that that is the most brilliant idea in your neighborhood. Little do you know that customers are always jamming the door of that shop, not because there are very many and they want to buy, but because the shopkeeper serves them slowly. Right? So you go home and quickly choose to pump your money into a similar business. At that time, you know very little about that business. You know very little about business as a concept. You have not taken time to understand what happens in the business world, in the business that you want to go into. Or someone has just told you, if you don't want to lose your money, start an eatery business. And people will tell you can never go wrong with a restaurant. I will never tire from reminding you that in the world of business, every idea is a brilliant idea, and every idea is a bogus idea. It depends with very many factors. We have talked about this before. So someone has told you that the best side hustle you can have is a food joint. To some extent, they make sense. They tell you people get hungry every day, so people will be eating every day, and you get sold to their idea. So you look for money. Some people go and take loans and you pump into that business. You do not know the dynamics of the business, neither do you have the time to sit in the business to appreciate how the business begins to take shape. So the typical line is that you will look for money, pump into a business, look for a relative, plant into the business, or a friend of yours, plant into the business, and you go to work. You go to your office, and you expect profits to start trickling in. You have set up a side hustle. You're expecting that the side hustle will be able to give you supplementary income, will be able to start making you money. You're actually preparing to become a millionaire. You're actually preparing to be financially stable. You're preparing that now your journey to financial freedom is taking shape. But before long, you realize that the thing has not worked. What you thought was going to be has refused to be. Where do we get this wrong? That's what we are talking about today. Maina Johanna, thank you so much. Good to see you. Griffins, I can see you. Griffins is saying that my side hustle has been of great importance, though I'm not of the danger of poverty, but has made me make bold steps towards that realization. Thank you. Thank you so much, Griffins, for sharing with us. Griffins is confirming that indeed having another source of income is something worth embracing. Okay. Dominic Okongo, following from Komarok, thank you so much. Duke Nyakwana from Kirinyaga, I can see you. You're saying side hustle is the way to go. You're ready to pick the tips. Willie, you're saying your side hustle, you started with goats, goat farming. Let's get to project what Willie is saying. So Willie says that he started with goat farming. So far, so good. However, there are some challenges here and there, but you're pushing on. You started small, but you're seeing some improvement month after month. Wow. You welcome friends to join you and kick out poverty. Thank you, Willie. Mutui Dennis from Isiolo, good to see you. Ruai Water Supply, always a pleasure having you. Good to have you here. Once again, feel free to invite your friends. Feel free to share this with someone else so that we can have this conversation together. Feel free to share with someone else so that we can have this conversation together. In case you are just landing here, this is Wednesday Night Live. We have two specific lives per week. We have the Wednesday Night Live where we pick a topic and dissect it. And then we have the Saturday Q&A Live where we gather here to ask questions and answer them live. Each of those lives begin at 8 p.m. East African time. So if you are joining us for your very first time and your ears love hearing things to do with money, then you are in the right place. This is where we gather to talk about money and everything in the world of money, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is where we gather to talk about business, to talk about debt, to talk about investment, and all those things. So feel at home. Follow me on this page. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are coming to you live on YouTube. We are coming to you live on Facebook. We are coming to you live on Instagram. Right, so today we are talking about side hustles. We are talking about side hustles, and we are keeping this relaxed. You're just telling us your experiences with side hustles, and I'm throwing in insights here and there. Now, apart from how you choose what you put your money in, the other blunder that comes in is the person we put in the business. You select a relative from the village, you plant them into the business. They have no idea what your vision for this business was if at all you had a vision, because many people actually start these businesses without any vision. They don't know where they want to go with the business. They just start a business. So you bring in someone who does not own the vision of the business. You have not communicated to them the dreams you have. You have not even vetted them to see that they are actually best suited to run your business. So what do? They come to the shop and they sit down. They have no self-drive to run your shop. A customer walks in, they will be quiet. If they're on their phone, they'll continue being on their phone until the customer speaks, until the customer says what he or she wants. If the customer does not say anything, they do not have the drive to even engage the customer, to even say hi to the customer and find out what the customer wanted. Okay, so there's another blunder that happens there. You might have a business that will also be very lucrative. It might actually peak. But again, you might have planted a wrong person in there because you picked someone you don't know. You've never experienced these people. This is your first time starting a business. And so you have someone who begins to be clever. And I've met very many cases where the people attending to other people's businesses are actually making more profit than the owners of the business. So they start doing their own businesses in your business. So you're the one paying rent, you're the one paying the bills for the business, but they're the ones reaping big, and you're still paying them salary for working for you because you're busy at the office. Let me know if what I'm saying has happened to you or to someone that that you know, so that we can make sense out of this conversation. So there are people who will go through that particular journey and their business starts wasting away. Either the person you put there is not vigilant enough, is not aggressive enough, and so you don't sell. Number two, the person is selling, but is not entirely selling your stock. They start bringing their own stocks into the business. And if you're not careful, that also begins to bring your business down because the bills that you have to pay will outweigh the profit that you're making or the revenue that is coming in. So before you know it, you might actually be closing doors. And like I said in the beginning, your capital is gone, the business is gone, and if you're not careful, or if you took some debt, it leaves you with a debt to repay. So all these realities are beginning to create some confusion. There is someone here wondering, so what am I really supposed to do? Where do I get this second income from? Where do I pick the ideal side hustle from? Okay, where do I pick the ideal side hustle from? Siat Abdi Gure. How about M-Pesa Lines Company? Your tech, please. Siat Abdi. There was a time people made a lot of money in M-Pesa business. There was a time people made a lot of money in M-Pesa business. Currently, of course, it depends with your location and how the M-Pesa businesses have encroached that particular place and the population that you are serving. But of course, we are now past the stage where it is as lucrative as it was. There are people who've made millions in the world of M-Pesa, especially the early adopters of that particular business. So now we are at a phase where it is either an attraction. Let's say, for example, you have a shop, you can plant it there as an attraction tool, depending on where you are, again, so that as people come to transact, of course, it will give you something at the end of the day. But it works very well if you also will be complementing it with other things. So you can use it as an attraction to your shop. As people come to withdraw and deposit money, they can also see what else you are selling. So if you just are looking for something to start you off, depending on where you are, so it's up to you to scan your environment and see how those businesses have penetrated. Okay, so if you find it viable, then it can still give you a few coins at the end of the day to start you off, but not to act as your ultimate source of income. Okay, because of competition and a lot of things have also changed. Even the commission structures have also changed over time. So you scan your environment and see, but I like viewing it as a business that works well when you also have other supporting things going. I hope that helps you. Kizito Abubakar from Uganda, good to see you. Friday Lombe, I can see you from Zambia. Thank you so much. Daniel Olembo from Juba, South Sudan. Good to have you here. You're saying that you have never realized this side hustle. I hope by the end of this, you will be seeing some light. Dominic, you're saying business is only viable when there is profit, but you also believe that profit is relative. What should be the best profit margin in a business? Wow. Thank you, Dominic, for that question. Again, like you're saying, profit is relative. Again, it depends with the ambitions that we have. But first of all, for us to register profit, it means that we have taken care of the costs that were involved. So as long as we have taken care of the costs that were involved, so when we do our calculation, we will get profit. Now, your goal as a business person, your goal as an entrepreneur is for you to now embark on a growth trajectory. Today, you will make profit. And of course, business follows some process. It is not very likely that you open your shop today and you get what you want to call your ideal profit. However, whichever profit you will make, then you set higher goals next time. You tell yourself, next year, I want to try and see if I can stretch this to a better position. And so it needs to be a growing journey. Whatever figure you want to call ideal, that is up to you. But the ultimate goal, because the only thing I usually teach as far as what you have asked is concerned is excellence in business. And excellence demands that you compete against your own potential, against the potential of your business. If this year you made profit X, is it possible that next year you can make profit X plus something? So once you make it growth focused, then you are able to hit beyond ceilings that probably were even existing. Okay, so that would be my take on that, has always been. There is someone here who is selling for us things that we don't want to buy. All right. Kevin Kipto, you are locked from Eldoret. Wilbur Mwebeze from Uganda, now in Saudi. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right. So we are talking about side hustles. We are just picking your experiences as I throw in some insights to enrich this particular conversation. So I've just taken you through some quick journey of the thought process of a typical employed person. A typical employed person. Now you can have a side hustle, whether you are employed or you're in business. But this conversation, this mention of side hustle means a lot for people who are employed, means a lot for them because they spend most of their time in the employer's workplace, and the word side for them wants to make a lot of sense. But then they have to be very careful based on the things that I have said. Once again, a big welcome to all of you, those that have just joined us. This is Wednesday Night Live. Today we are talking about side hustles. Side hustles, are they viable? Are they things that we can try our hands in? Are they things that will burn our fingers? Or what kind of things are they? For those of you that have tried, you are sharing with us and telling us whether you have succeeded in them and which challenges you are facing. And I'm also telling you why we face the challenges that we face. And I'll also be suggesting a few other things to help you as you think about your side hustle. So very quickly, let's ask ourselves the question, which one is an ideal side hustle? Which one is an ideal side hustle? And of course, I'm picking this off head, so I'm throwing them as they come. An ideal side hustle is, number one, a venture that does not jeopardize your main hustle. It does not compete, it does not threaten the existence of your main hustle. Remember, it's your main hustle that is giving birth to the side hustle. So if you come up with something that threatens the existence of the main hustle, then we might be endangering your major source of livelihood before this other one takes shape. So the ideal one is one that does not jeopardize the existence of the main hustle. Number two, an ideal main side hustle will be one that utilizes resources that are readily available to you. Yes. Which are these resources that are readily available? For another person, these resources might be money. For another person, these resources might be the skills that they have, the endowments that they have, the talent that they have, the gifts that they have, the abilities that they have. For another person, these resources might be a piece of land that they have in the village, that they have wherever it is that they have. For another person, these resources might be availability of cheap labor. For another person, these resources might be a laptop and accessibility to Wi-Fi. For another person, these resources might be a smartphone. For another person, these resources will be a camera. So before you look far away, start by looking at where you are. And last year when I was talking to you about sources of business ideas and opportunities, I remember mentioning that before you start looking far, begin to look at yourself. What do you have that can be monetized? So an ideal side hustle starts utilizing resources that are easily available to you. I hope I'm making sense. An ideal business side hustle is a side hustle that you can also be able to monitor its progress given your current circumstances. Again, for another person, the resource they have is the time that they have on their hands. There is someone who works from Monday to Friday, so they have Saturday and Sunday. That time is a resource for them. So when they are thinking about side hustles, they also need to think about what is already on their hands, what is available to them. So that's where we start. So before you go burning your fingers with ideas that are very crazy, out of this world, can you start with where you are? What skills do you have that maybe can be monetized depending on the nature of your job? So you also look at the nature of the job that you are currently doing. How much time does it leave you with, this current job that you have? How much money do you have at your disposal? The current skills that you have, can you offer them elsewhere during your spare time? Because some people are paralyzed, are stagnating because they are waiting for capital. They're actually saying they would have loved to have a side hustle, but because they don't have capital, then they can't have a side hustle. So we are beginning to say, is it possible that the skills you are offering your current employer can be offered to someone else over the weekend, can be offered to someone else in the evening, can be offered to someone else at night? Your employer takes 8 hours out of your 24 hours. So what do you do with the remaining 16? If you sleep in the other 8, what do you do with the other 8? If traffic eats your 2 hours, what do you do with the other 6? And why do you allow traffic to eat your 2 hours? Okay, I hope we are awakening sleeping thoughts, because that's what I came to do. I just came to trigger your thinking and how you can think so that you produce a side hustle that is relevant for you. Okay, let me see what you are saying. Hannes Zigru, I can see you from United Kingdom. Thank you so much for coming. Bernard Lukoye, you are saying you tried some agricultural business as a side hustle, part-time, as you engage on the other side of employment. You got burnt terribly. My farmhand used to take my farm inputs and apply on his farm. Thank you, Bernard. You bringing out what I was saying. Later on, I discovered his farm was flourishing while mine was collapsing. Lesson learned: don't try agricultural side hustle if you cannot at least visit your farm twice or thrice a week. Yes, and that plugs into the point I was saying. An ideal side hustle is the one that, looking at your schedule, has the chance for you to monitor it. Are you able to monitor it? If you start a business or an endeavor that you can only monitor once in a week or once in a month, then there will be a problem. Some people will leave the office, they are tired, they don't even have capacity or time or energy to even make a phone call to find out how things were in the shop. Again, you cannot just rely on managing your shop on remote control, just making phone calls to be told how things were. And some of us are okay. So today we will call, they tell us they sold 5. Tomorrow they sold 3. The other day they did not sell anything. And we are okay. We say these are business dynamics. When do you get to visit your shop, to throw your eyes around? And you need to be very vigilant. I remember at some point while consulting for another client, another business client, whose business was going down. So I remember asking for the location of the business, and I paid some impromptu visit to the business. And when I got there, I saw the business was very vibrant. There were very many customers. The place looked like it was working. And so I marked that particular date. So later on, I asked this guy, how much sales volume did you, how much sales volume did you record on that particular day? And the guy tells me a figure that was very small. And so I tell this guy that there is likelihood that your guy is selling his own stock in your shop. And upon investigation, it was established that the guy was selling his own stock in this other person's business. My apologies, I have lost power. I know you can hear me, but probably you cannot be able to see me. Kizito, you're saying if you're mainly working at company A, but also having another job at company B somewhere else, can I consider job B as a side hustle? Yes, it is. It can be considered as a side hustle. There is no limit to how many jobs you can have, as long as they are not competing for the available resources, as long as they are not killing each other. Now, in the absence of power, looks like we might have to carry to move part B of this conversation to Saturday Q&A live, because our time is also, we only have 5 minutes left. I don't know how long this is going to take. Felix, you are saying that you can hear me. Yes, my sound is indicating that you can hear me, but the loss of power has affected our camera, and therefore it's not possible for you to be able to see me. George William Wamala, you're saying that you're tuned in from Uganda. You're currently in hardware business. You're looking to start something like a concrete block making business. Is it viable? If it's viable or not depends with what is happening on the ground in Uganda. Your own assessment of how the ground looks like will tell us whether it is viable or not. Okay, but take your time to find out whether there is opportunity for that business. Where will you be selling those particular concrete blocks? Are there people constructing near you? So do you have market for it? Is it can you see some potential for it? Then look at the cost of setting it up, how much money you will be making from it, how much profit you anticipate, how long it will take you before you can be able to break even, and that will then tell you whether it's a viable business or not. Bernard Lukoe, you are saying on another front, you were doing M-Pesa business, you monitored your business for some time, you came to realize that the lady you had employed had another line that she was using, hence capitalizing on your cash, thus reducing your monthly commission to her own advantage. Yes, these are common things that are happening. These are very, very common things that are happening. So, good people, ladies and gentlemen, I think you will allow me to pause this conversation here so that we can merge it with the Saturday Q&A live. That this is where we will start from on Saturday, God willing. Because of the loss of power, I would have loved to also see you. You know, as you see me, I'm also seeing you in a way. So I would have loved to be seeing you, but I'm not able to see you. I know you can hear me very loud and clear. My sound pointers are very high. The bars are very good, but in the absence of the video aspect, I am not seeing you, just as you're not able to see me. So I think I will defer the remaining bit of this Someone is saying something. Yvonne, you're saying just as long as we can hear you. I get you. I really get you, but I also would have loved to see you. And then for the purposes of the extractions that we do after live sessions, I will not have a video to break down for you in the days to come. So that is why then we have a challenge. We have a challenge here. Let me try and see if my other webcam can be able to do something. Just give me a second. Let me see if the webcam can be able to do something. Right. I don't know if you can hear me from this other line. Give me a signal that you can hear me. Please give me a signal that you can hear me. Are you able to hear me? Faith Magodi, you're saying that you're learning. I need a signal. I need a signal that you can hear me. For those that have just joined us, we have lost our power. That's why we don't have our usual camera. So I have just put in the camera for option B. I'm not sure whether you can see me the way you are seeing me, but I'm also not sure that you can hear me. Blessed Peter, thank you so much. George William Omala, I can see you. Thank you. Siat, you're saying so far I've mentioned 2 factors to consider. The side hustle does not interfere with the main income. The second is that use the readily available resources. Yes, does not interfere with the main hustle. Uses resources that are readily available. Okay, resources that are readily available. It is one that you can be able to monitor. Okay, you should be able to monitor. You should be able to monitor. That's number 3. Number 4, it is one that you understand. Is one that you understand. You need to have some basic understanding of what it is all about. Okay, what happens in that kind of business? What kind of things happen in it? How will you tell whether business is happening the way it's supposed to happen or someone is taking advantage of you? That can only happen if you have some rough idea of what happens in that particular space. Okay. Sami Care, you are confirming that you can hear. Niklaus Ndewia, Lydia, thank you so much. Once again, this is Wednesday Night Live. We have been talking about side hustles. We've been talking about side hustles. We are coming to you live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Instagram. We are just getting real in this conversation. So you are sharing your experiences. I am throwing in a few insights here and there. It's a big conversation. So far, we have looked at the blunders that people make as they choose their side hustle, how they get to burn their fingers, how other people take advantage of them, how people lose their hard-earned money and savings, or even the money they have borrowed to be able to start a side hustle and things like those. Then I've also mentioned what an ideal side hustle would look like, some of the things you need to look out for as you select what you would want to call an ideal side hustle. Okay, so I'm just speaking from your own stories. I had asked initially that if you've ever done a side hustle, let us know. Thank you for those that have been sharing. I had also asked if you haven't, why haven't you? If you're considering, which one are you thinking about? And things like those. So thank you so much, everyone who has shared. Thank you so much for your sharing. It has helped in this conversation. But I want to ask you a question as a parting shot, not the end of this conversation. This conversation had 2 parts. So because of the challenges we've had with power, we've lost a few minutes, and I may not be able to do justice to the second part. And therefore, the second part, we will pick it up when we are doing the Saturday Q&A live. That is where we will start from. But the question is this: must a side hustle be a business? Must a side hustle be a business? As you think about it, Think about those qualities of a good side hustle that I've mentioned. For those that are already thinking about which other thing they can do, look at yourself, look at your skills, look at your time, look at your gifts and talents, look at the experience that you have. Yes, there is something you picked somewhere, you worked some time back. That skill might be replicated somewhere else in your own venture, and it can do you some good. Some of you are accountants. You can be able to use your spare time to offer accounting consultancy services. There are very many small businesses that cannot hire a full-time accountant, and you are relying on one source of income, yet you can be able to commercialize your accounting skills during your free time. If you don't know how to go about it, slide in the inbox, I'll help you. Okay. So it starts with where we are. It starts from where we are. What do you have? What do you know? How much time do you have? How much money do you have? Do you have a laptop? Do you have a phone? Do you have Wi-Fi? That is where we start. Okay. So you think about those ones. God willing, when we meet during the Q&A session on Saturday, then you will also tell me the thoughts that will have started crossing your mind as I take you into the second part. And the second part, I'll be trying to show you that a side hustle does not have to be business. And so I'll be breaking down the conversation that some of you have heard me doing, the conversation of the different kinds of incomes that we have and how you can select which one that would work for you given your specific circumstances. So thank you so much, good people, for finding time. I know we've been disrupted a bit, but we have said a few things. So thank you for finding time. Thank you for engaging. Once again, feel free to share this with your friends. This video will remain here. Feel free to invite someone else to follow us. If you are loving this conversation, throw in your comments, throw in your questions, invite someone else so that when we gather during the Saturday Q&A live, we have a bigger house for us to be able to have this conversation rolling. The Entrepreneurship Development Program that will be starting in February, on the 13th of February, is also cooking. Posters should be out, God willing, from tomorrow. So if you are interested in learning deeper things about business, please then mark your calendar and plan to register for that particular program. It's a 12-lesson program. We'll be doing it weekly, every Tuesday, weekly for 2 hours in the evening, so that we get deeper into the conversations of entrepreneurship. So I will also on Saturday, God willing, be breaking down that program for you to understand what is there that you will be benefiting from. It has a great introductory discount for you. I've been doing it for people in other organizations, and you guys were asking that I also make it public so that you can also partake of the same. So we will be bringing it with an introductory discount. We will also initially allow some installment payments, but I will break this down on Saturday as we do our Saturday Q&A. So book a date with me, God willing, on Saturday, 8 p.m. East African time. Let's gather here in our large numbers. We usually go live on Facebook, we go live on YouTube, we go live on Instagram, so that we can be able to talk about this. So tell your friends about this, invite them to follow this page so that they are not left behind. Do not be selfish with this information. Help me to also invite your friends to follow this page. If you're on Facebook, there are 3 dots to the right. Once you press them, there is something that tells you to invite your friends. Please invite all of them if you can, so that we can continue growing together. Once again, thank you so much. Until we meet again, God willing, on Saturday. It's been real, it's been good, it's been fantastic. Despite the challenges of power, we have continued to converse until we are concluding, and you can't wait to hear the second part of this conversation. that will be probably what you have been missing in the conversation of side hustles. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. A big welcome once again as I close to Joachim Docret and everyone else who has just joined us. This was Wednesday Night Live. We usually pick a topic every Wednesday, do some justice to it, and then on Saturday we do Q&A live. So may God bless you. May God keep you well until we meet again. May God answer your prayers. May He do you well. May you be blessed as you step out and as you come in. So you have a good one as I conclude this.